Well, it was a big week down in Wellington with the much-anticipated official cash rate announcement on Wednesday. Often it seems like the Reserve Bank and its governor speak their own language, live in their own monetary policy bubble. Their analysis and commentary is focused on mortgage holders and financial markets. But we wanted to know what Adrian Orr, one of the most important decision makers in our economy, has to say to ordinary working people, those who arguably feel the pain of the cost of living crisis most. So here is our political editor, Jenna Lynch, with the Reserve Bank Governor.
There's always a lot of focus on mortgage holders, but what about everyday working New Zealanders, the 430,000 people that are falling behind on their loans, struggling to pay bills, struggling to put food on the table? What is your message to them?
Our message to them is that inflation is no one's friend. And it is inflation that is causing the most significant economic challenge at present to all New Zealanders. And our job is to return inflation back to its 1 to 3%. What I'd like to say to them is that we're well on the path to achieving that.
But those same people are the ones that would be hurt in a recessionary environment, in a downturn. They don't seem to be a major feature in any of your commentary or analysis. Why is that?
I disagree with your supposition. There is significant, in fact, an entire chapter around the labour market, labour force and maximum sustainable employment.
Those people can't, in your words, cool their jets with their spending. They're borrowing to get the basics. And what they hear from you is that what we're seeing is what we're hoping to observe. Do you feel like you're in touch with the pain that people are feeling right now?
I don't know that comment. So what I'm saying is absolutely we're in touch. Inflation is no one's friend, and we are here to stamp inflation out with monetary policy. I will also point out that unemployment has been at record low levels. Employment and employment engagement in the economy is at OECD record levels, but we need to constrain inflation.
And do you personally take some responsibility for the inflationary environment that we're seeing right now?
I am the Governor of the Reserve Bank. Yes, I do.
In taking some responsibility for the inflationary environment which we find ourselves in, on reflection, were any of your actions avoidable, and do you regret any of the actions that you have taken?
I regret that the public of New Zealand has had to suffer through this high inflation period. I also acknowledge that that's been the case internationally through the story. But in terms of the decision-making that we've had to make through it as a committee, no, we have talked and published our full review. And I'll remind listeners that that is public and it was internationally reviewed and is available. And we talked about, probably in hindsight at best, we could have started raising interest rates 3 to 6 months earlier than what we actually did. But that would have been a small bare difference with regards to the end inflation outcome.
And do you feel like you've been adequately accessible, accountable and faced an acceptable level of in-depth scrutiny over what impact your decisions have had on the cost of living crisis in New Zealand?
Can I remind that it's a committee decision, because I'm feeling very personally attacked here, so I will just remind you of that. It's a monetary policy committee, and yes, I do. We are in front of the public very often, and we're in front of Parliament very often. In fact, at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, I'm back in front of the Financial Expenditure Committee meeting, and we have done significant international reviews, and we are one of the most, if not the most, transparent central bank on planet Earth.
Well, big call there by the Reserve Bank Governor, Adrian Orr, who we've been asking for an in-depth interview for 12 months now. Well, with me now is our political panel, Newshub's climate correspondent Isabel Ewing, former Labour Party President Mike Williams, and Dalipa Fonseca, who is senior correspondent for Business Desk. Good morning. Welcome to you all.
Thank you.
Some really awkward moments there with Adrian Orr sort of responding to this different sort of line of questioning. He said he felt personally attacked at one point, but that's scrutiny, isn't it? That's a big job he's got, Mike.
It is, but he's also got to walk a tightrope. People hang on his every word, and there's really in-depth analysis at what he says. So I do have some sympathy for him, and he made the point that one of his objectives is low unemployment, and he's got that. So I think he defended himself fairly well. I don't think he was justified in saying he was under attack, though.
Yeah, what did you think, Isabel?
Yeah, I feel like perhaps he should have been briefed maybe better. You know, that seemed like that question just came out of the blue for him. What about the people who are struggling? What about those people? And he just didn't seem prepared. Sort of that one of the answers from Jenna, I think, he said, I don't know that comment. And he kept repeating inflation is no one's friend. And everybody is aware that inflation is nobody's friend. So perhaps a bit of lack of prepping for the Reserve Bank Governor on that question.
It wasn't his natural habitat, was it? What do you think, Dilipa? You are steeped in the mystery of the Reserve Bank.
Well, the system is set up so that he's not the most popular guy in the room, right? And it's at a period of high inflation. It's set up so he's independent, so that he can make a hard call and an unpopular call. And that's why we've set it up that way. What he perhaps didn't explain very well was that it's set up so that he's the second responder. So the government comes in with their budget, and they're supposed to deal with the social issues and cost of living issues and things like that. They're supposed to, and then the Reserve Bank is supposed to step in in response to that and say, right, this is where interest rate or the official cash rate needs to be in order to keep inflation down. So we've set him up a little bit there, to be fair, to be the unpopular guy in the room.
But when you're pulling those levers, do you also sort of have to, you're serving all New Zealanders, you have to be able to relate to the experience of everybody, do you think, Mike?
Well, I think he has to, and he will know that, but he kind of defended that with the employment statistics. You know, if you're feeling the pinch, get a better job.